Instead, he reached out and gently took her hand, sending a jolt of electricity through her. "Just remember, I'm here for you. No matter what." Ava nodded, her heart swelling with a mix of emotions. As they walked back toward the party, she felt a sense of comfort in his presence, but the uncertainty still lingered. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of dancing, laughter, and heartfelt toasts. Ava tried to immerse herself in the joy of the occasion, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Jake. She caught glimpses of him throughout the night, laughing with friends, his eyes occasionally finding hers, and each time her heart skipped a beat. As the night drew to a close, Ava found herself standing by the entrance, watching the guests say their goodbyes. Sophie and Mark were beaming, surrounded by well-wishers, and Ava felt a pang of longing. She wanted that kind of love, that kind of certainty. "Hey," Jake said, appearing beside her. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "About us?" he asked, his tone gentle. "About everything," she admitted, her heart heavy. "I just don't know what to do." "Maybe we can take it slow," Jake suggested, his eyes earnest. "We don't have to rush into anything. Let's just see where this goes." Ava considered his words, feeling a flicker of hope. "I'd like that," she said finally. "I just need to be sure." "Then let's take our time," he said, a smile breaking through the tension. "I'm willing to wait for you, Ava." As they stood together, the stars twinkling above them, Ava felt a sense of peace wash over her. Maybe this was the beginning of something new, something worth exploring. "Let's start with friendship," she suggested, her heart feeling lighter, "and see where it leads us." "I can do that," Jake replied, his smile warm and genuine. "I'm just happy to be back in your life." With that, they stepped back into the celebration, ready to embrace whatever the future held. The night was still young, and as they joined the others, Ava felt a renewed sense of hope. Perhaps love could be rekindled, and perhaps they could write a new chapter together. The days following the wedding were a whirlwind of emotions for Ava. She stayed in Willow Creek a little longer, using the time to reconnect with her family and old friends, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Jake. Their conversation at the wedding had left her with a mix of hope and uncertainty, and she wasn't sure what to do next. One afternoon, as she was helping her mom in the garden, her phone buzzed with a text. It was from Jake. "Hey, I'm heading to the old park. Thought I'd take a walk down memory lane. Want to join me?" Ava stared at the message, her heart racing. The old park was where they'd spent countless afternoons as teenagers, talking, laughing, and dreaming about the future. It felt like a lifetime ago, but the memories were still vivid. She hesitated for a moment before replying, "Sure, I'll meet you there." When Ava arrived at the park, she spotted Jake sitting on a bench near the pond, his guitar resting beside him. He looked up as she approached, a smile spreading across his face. "Hey," he said, standing up to greet her. "Hey," she replied, feeling a little nervous. "It's been a while since I've been here." "Yeah, me too," Jake said, glancing around. "It's still the same, though, just like I remember." They started walking along the path that wound around the pond, the silence between them comfortable yet charged with unspoken words. The park was quiet, the only sounds the rustling of leaves and the occasional chirp of birds. "So how's it been being back in Willow Creek?" Jake asked, breaking the silence. "It's been interesting," Ava admitted. "It's nice to see everyone, but it's also a little overwhelming. There are so many memories here." "I know what you mean," Jake said, his tone thoughtful. "It's like stepping back in time." They reached the old oak tree where they'd carved their initials years ago. Ava ran her fingers over the bark, tracing the faint letters that were still visible. "I can't believe this is still here," she said softly. "Some things never change," Jake replied, his voice tinged with nostalgia. They decided to visit the old diner, where they'd spent countless afternoons as teenagers. The place hadn't changed much. Same red vinyl booths, same jukebox in the corner, same smell of fries and milkshakes. They slid into their usual booth, and for a moment, it felt like no time had passed at all. "Remember the first time we came here?" Jake asked, a smile tugging at his lips. "How could I forget?" Ava replied, laughing. "You spilled your milkshake all over the table, and I had to help you clean it up." "Yeah, and you made fun of me for weeks," Jake said, shaking his head. "But I think that's when I knew I liked you." Ava felt a warmth spread through her chest at his words. "I think that's when I knew I liked you too." They ordered their usual, a cheeseburger for Jake and a grilled cheese for Ava. And as they ate, the conversation turned to more serious topics. "Ava, I've been thinking a lot about what happened between us," Jake said, his tone serious. "I know I made mistakes and I want to make things right." Ava nodded, her heart racing. "I've been thinking about it too. I think we both made mistakes. But I also think we were young and didn't know how to handle things." "Yeah," Jake agreed, his expression thoughtful. "I think we both needed time to grow and figure out who we are. But now that we're here, I want to make sure we're on the same page." Ava said, her voice steady. "I need to know that we're both committed to making this work." "I am," Jake said, his eyes meeting hers. "I've spent too many years regretting the past. I don't want to waste any more time." Ava felt a surge of emotion at his words. She wanted to believe him, to believe that they could find their way back to each other, but the fear of getting hurt again was still there, lingering in the back of her mind. Ava turned to look at him, her heart aching with the weight of their shared history. "Jake, I've been thinking a lot about what you said at the wedding, about wanting to try again." "And?" he asked, his eyes searching hers. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice trembling. "I'm scared of getting hurt again. I'm scared of losing you all over again." Jake stepped closer, his expression earnest. "Ava, I can't promise that it will be easy, but I can promise that I'll do everything in my power to make it work. I've spent too many years regretting the past. I don't want to waste any more time." Ava felt tears prick at her eyes. She wanted to believe him, to believe that they could find their way back to each other, but the fear of getting hurt again was still there, lingering in the back of her mind. "What if we take it one day at a time?" she suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. "No pressure, no expectations. Just see where this goes." Jake smiled, a look of relief crossing his face. "I can do that. One day at a time." They continued their walk, the tension between them easing as they talked about their lives, their dreams, and the years they'd spent apart. It felt good to reconnect, to rediscover the person they'd once been so close to. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the park, Jake stopped and turned to Ava. "Can I play you something?" he asked, gesturing to his guitar. "Of course," she replied, curious. He sat down on a nearby bench and began to strum a familiar melody. It was the song he'd written for her all those years ago, the one he'd never finished. As he played, the words flowed effortlessly, filled with emotion and longing. Ava felt tears stream down her face as she listened, the memories of their past flooding back. When he finished, she looked at him, her heart full. "That was beautiful," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "It's for you," Jake said softly, his eyes meeting hers. "It's always been for you." Ava felt a surge of emotion as she processed his words. The weight of their shared history hung in the air, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope. "Thank you," she whispered, wiping away her tears. "It means so much to me." Jake reached out, gently taking her hand in his. "I want to make new memories with you, Ava. I want to create a future that we can both be proud of." Ava nodded, her heart racing at the sincerity in his voice. I want that too, but I need to be honest about my feelings. I'm still figuring things out. Honesty is key, he replied, squeezing her hand reassuringly. We'll take it slow, just like you said, no rush. As they sat together, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. The beauty of the moment enveloped them, and Ava felt a sense of peace settle in her. Maybe this was the beginning of something new, something worth exploring. The beauty of the moment enveloped them, and Ava felt a sense of peace settle in her heart. Maybe this was the beginning of something new, something worth exploring. Let's make a pact, Ava suggested, her eyes sparkling with determination. No matter what happens, we promise to communicate. If things get tough, we talk it out. I like that, Jake said, a smile breaking across his face. We'll be open and honest with each other. No more hiding. With that, they sealed their pact with a shared smile, a silent agreement that they would navigate this new chapter together. As they stood up to leave, Ava felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Want to grab some ice cream? Jake asked, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Absolutely, Ava replied, her heart fluttering at the thought of spending more time with him. They walked side by side, their fingers intertwined, the warmth of their connection growing stronger with each step. The night was still young, and as they made their way to the local ice cream shop, Ava couldn't help but feel excited about the possibilities that lay ahead. As they enjoyed their ice cream, they laughed and reminisced about their childhood adventures, the ice cream dripping down their cones as they shared stories. Ava felt a sense of normalcy returning, a feeling she had missed for so long. Remember that time we tried to build a treehouse? Jake asked, chuckling. It ended up being more of a disaster than a masterpiece. Ava laughed, recalling the day vividly. We thought we were so clever, but it ended up collapsing before we even got to sit in it. Yeah, but we had fun, he said, his eyes sparkling with nostalgia. That's what mattered. As they finished their ice cream, Ava felt a warmth spreading through her. Maybe they could create new memories, ones that would be filled with laughter and joy. Let's make a promise, she said, her voice serious, to always find time for each other, no matter how busy life gets. Deal, Jake replied, his expression earnest. I want to be a part of your life, Ava. I want to be there for you. You know, I really believe we can have something special again, he said, his voice sincere. Ava nodded, her heart racing. I want that too, but I also want to make sure we're both ready for it. Absolutely, Jake replied, his eyes locked onto hers. We'll take it one step at a time together. With that, they walked back to the park, the stars twinkling above them, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Ava felt a renewed sense of hope, and as they reached the old oak tree once more, she knew that this was just the beginning of their journey together. Again,